Okay, there we go. Okay, sorry we're starting late today. There was technical difficulties. Okay, we are on page Samach Zion. And we started this last week, but we are going to go back to the beginning of the parak, of the chapter, because we only did a little bit anyway. Okay, so we'll just start fresh. Good? All good? Samach Zion?
So Samach Zion?
Yeah, we're starting Olam HaTikkun. Olam HaTikkun. Achar Shvira, Hoitzi Hashem Yisbarach, Or Chadash. Iva Tikkun Es Seder HaEser Sfiras, Shenishberu, Be'oifen Sheloi Nishtabru Od. So, we had said that there was a Shviras HaKelim, right? That's what we said. You probably don't know exactly. Okay, so you'll wing it.
I'll wing it.
You'll wing it. So we had said that out of the world of Adam Kadmoin came Sfiras, and they broke, they shattered. And so now what's going to happen is, that was called Olam HaToihu, the world of destruction, when the Sfiras were destroyed, when they shattered. And now there's going to be a new phase called Olam HaTikkun. Olam HaTikkun means the world of perfection, or of fixing. So it's like the fixed world. So these Kalim, these Sfiras that broke, are now going to get fixed. So again, he says, Achar Shvira, after the break, Hoitzi Hashem Yisbarach, Or Chadash. Hashem took out a new or, a new light. Uba Tikkun Es Seder HaEser Sfiras. With that new light, he fixed the entire array of the 10 Sfiras, Shenishberu, that broke, Be'oifen Sheloi Yishtabru Oid, in a way that they should not break anymore. Dehine. Sibas Hashvira Haisa Mishum Shakelim Hayu Echad Lemata Mechaveroi. So we had said, and we showed this diagram many times in the past, that this is how the Sfiras looked, okay, when they came out. And so you had Keser Chachma Bina. They were in a good array, and I'll explain what good means in a minute, but the other 7 were one under the other. And when the Sfiras work in this way, they work together, and we're going to explain why soon. And so these 3 that were in this array called a segel, 1, 2, 3, they work together, and therefore there was no break. However, here they were not working together. Each one was working independently. Each one wanted to take all the oiros for themselves, and they expanded to encompass all of the 7 oiros that were coming down, and therefore there was a break. That's what we had said. Okay? So that's the reason for the break. So again, he says, Dehine, Sibas Hashvira Haisa Mishum Shakelim Hayu Echad Lemata Mechaveroi. The reason that the Sfiras broke was because that they were in, we're not talking about the upper 3. The upper 3 were fine, but the lower 7 were one on top of the other, or as he says, one below the other. V'ratza kol echad limloich al hashar. Each one wanted to rule all 7. Each one wanted everything for himself. Each one wasn't willing to share. V'ratza kol echad limloich al hashar ilahachsi kol ha'oirois la'atzmai. And each one wanted to take all the 7 lights for himself. Now really, there's 7 lights that come down. Each light is supposed to end up in each keli, in each vessel. But the first one tried to take all 7. What he was supposed to do was take 1 and let the other 6 go into their place. He tried to take all 7, he expanded, and that was too much to bear, and it broke. That would have been, the top one would have been chesed.
So were there 10 lights that came down, and the first 3?
So the first 3 were okay, right? That's right. The first 3 fell in their places, went into their places. The other 7, there was a problem. Because the lower 7, did not have, they weren't connected together like the top three, and they weren't one together. That hiskashus means to connect, achdus means they weren't one. L'chein, therefore, lo yachlu lisbol es rubi haor v'nishbaru. They were not able to handle the great amount of light, and they broke. So we had discussed this already in previous chapters. V'achar kach niskenu mechadash. So after that, Hashem fixed them in a new way. V'nizdaru ba'oifen shelo yamdu hakelim. He set them up in a way that the kelim, the spheres, should not stand le'atzman, on their own, zeh tachazeh, one under the other. Rather, yamdu be'ahava, they should stand with love, be'achdus, and oneness, zeh eitzel zeh, one next to the other. Al derech yemin, small, ve'emsa. And the way it's going to look is there's going to be a right line of the spheres, a left line of the spheres, and a middle line of the spheres. Dugmas, segel. It's going to look like a segel, like these three dots, like a segel that we have in the kudas. And when we say we pronounce a or segel is that sound. That's the symbol of how they're going to set themselves up. And now he gives a little diagram right in the text. So you have keser, chachma, bina. Das is in brackets because Das is an extra sphera. This is a complicated thing. We'll talk about that in a different time. So let's right now leave aside Das. So again, Keser Chachma Bina, that's your segel. The three. Chesed Gvura Tiferes, that's the next segel. Netz Choid Yisoid is the third segel, and Malchus is underneath Yisoid. And that will not be a problem, that final Malchus directly underneath, and we'll explain why.
The page you showed was before this configuration.
Correct. That is correct.
Right.
That's why there was a break.
Right.
Originally, Hashem set them up this way.
That's how they.
The way you showed before.
Correct. When the Kalim came out, the Kalim were set up. That is correct. Hashem did it that way.
They messed up, and then he's like, "All right, I'm going to reset you now in a way that
right,
is more
right."
This
but we
is
said
the configuration.
this is
how
the
it's
proper.
settled.
Correct. That is
It's
correct.
like he set them up to fail.
100%. It was an intentional break.
Right.
That's why, again, we've said it before, but we have to say it again. Usually when we say something broke, it usually means, whoops, someone dropped something and it broke, right?
Yeah.
Or an accident happened, there was an earthquake, something broke. So it was an accident. This is an intentional break. And we're going to expand it. We have spoken about that. But yes, we're even in this paragraph we're going to speak about it, that never think chas v'shalom that Hashem goofed chas v'shalom. There's no such thing, chas v'shalom. It was a break, but it was an intentional break, and there's reasons for that. We had said before, I don't want to, we said in previous shurim, but the whole way the world works is the luchos were given, the tablets, they broke, and a new set is given. We are created broken, because we are created with an orla, without a bris milah. We have to fix ourselves and make a bris milah, right? The first base of Mikdash was created, it was destroyed, and there was a second one. And then even that one was destroyed, Imiyat Hashem, there will be a third one. The Yidden came into Eretz Yisrael, created a Malchus, a kingdom in Eretz Yisrael. They were thrown out. They came back, they were thrown out again. The whole way that the world works is breaking and fixing.
Renewal.
Rabbi,
Right, yes.
I just learned something very interesting yesterday. That the 3 weeks is a sad thing, right? But of course, within it, Hashem is with us. He's gone away, but he's come closer to us. So seemingly there was a mistake, or it was a mistake, but it wasn't really a mistake. It wasn't a mistake. It was a purposeful act, because everything in this world is good and perfect.
Right.
We might perceive it as a break, but it's not at all true. It's very dangerous, I think, to go as far, even with respect as what you said. That's what we say. But no, it's a goodness. It's a perfection that appears to us like a break because of our limitations.
Right. Well, it is. I'll tell you even more. Right. It is actually a break. The spheres did break, but what you said is the key. That break is for the purpose of fixing, and that break is something that needs to happen in order for us to come to our perfection. But Sorry? Intentional break.
break for a purpose.
100%. And all the breaks that we have through history, in our personal lives, it shouldn't happen to us, but it happens, and through Jewish history and history in general, is the reason why everything breaks and gets fixed is because of this, is because of what we're describing now, is because the spheres originally were created, they broke, and they were fixed. And the whole world and history and all existence will follow this pattern. Okay, that's what. Yes.
I was just thinking that you know how you build you know about building. You're in real estate. They make a frame, and then they take off the frame, and that frame breaks. But it isn't a break. The idea of a break implies temporality. Right. This happened after that, and then that happened. It's not really the case. It was constructed this way, just like we put a frame around a building and we remove the initial frame.
Right. Very good. Very good. Excellent. Correct. I agree. Okay, so let's keep going. So we're after this diagram here in the text. So he says, "Ba'ofen shehayamin yashpia le'asmol." So why do you need these three columns? Because that's really what it is. You see, there's one column that is Chachma Chesed Netzach. That's the right column. There's another column that's Bina Gvura Hod, and then there's a center column that's Keser Das in brackets Tiferes Yisoid Malchus. Why do we need these three columns? So he's going to explain. Ba'ofen shehayamin yashpia le'asmol. So first of all, let's look at Chachma. Chachma is on the right side. Right side always means it's mashpia. It's giving over. It's giving. That's what the right side always means. It gives over to the left. What does the left do with it? V'asmol yitzamsem hashafa. The left will now contain this shefa, this energy, this power. So you always need, the way the world works is you always need, the ore is ore. Let's say water is coming down from Shemayim, okay? You need a keli to accept that water, okay? So the water coming down is like chesed. That's a great thing. But if you can't catch it, if you can't limit it, because it'll just keep coming and coming and coming. If you can't capture any of that, it's useless. What are we going to do with it?
It needs a vessel.
It needs a vessel, but you have to understand the vessel is actually limiting, right? The vessels will only hold so much, and it limits the flow of the water, right? So that's why you need, in order, the whole world works like this, that goodness can come down, but we have to have a kli to catch it, right? And that is called the left side. The left side minimizes this flow, but you need that minimization in order to exist. The same way that we described that when Hashem created the world was the same thing, that Hashem is one or great light, but nothing is like the sun. Nothing can exist in that great light. It's you burn up. You can't exist in the sun. So Hashem had to make an empty space, kaviyachol, where creation could happen. And that was a limitation. But without that limitation, there is no existence. Okay. Vashlishis, so then what's the middle? So now we understand what the right column is. We understand what the left column is. But what is that middle column? Hashlishis muzig mishnehem. The middle column represents the perfect joining of those two forces. So you have the giving and the holding back, or the accepting, and that middle is the perfect middle. And that's why it's in the middle. It's not on the right, it's not on the left, it's in the middle. That means it has the equality, it's in the center. And that's what that represents. Yuchal Lizbol esa oiros. So with this three array of three, we can accept these lights. Vayashiri bekiyum lahara lechtachtoinim. So these lights can continue to exist. The vessels will catch the lights, and they can continue to give down that energy to lower levels. Ukamoy shetiaram Eliyahu hanavi ba'akdamas hatikunim. So it says here Tikkun Zayin. So there's something called Tikkunei Zohar. It's a different section of the Zohar. And in that place, Eliyahu Hanavi, we have certain teachings from Eliyahu Hanavi himself. That is called Pasach Eliyahu. It means Eliyahu began to say, and then it says the teaching of Eliyahu. So there's actually a lot. Actually, if you look in the beginning of the Siddur, a lot of Siddurim have this, that you can read this before you start davening. Even in the Art Scroll Siddur, even in the interlinear Art Scroll Siddur, I saw it. It's there right in the beginning of Shachris, and you can. A lot of people have a minhag to say it, especially the Sfardim, to say this thing before they start davening. So what does it say over there? So it's talking about these three entities: the right, the left, and the middle. So it says, now it's written in Aramish, in Aramaic, because it's a Zohar, right? It's written in Aramaic. So it says, Chad Arech, one side, the right side, is long. Now, what does that mean, it's long? It means there's a flow. It's continuing. That's what long, it's really, we view it as round. But long means that it's flowing. It's big. It's giving. That's what long means. It's stretching. That is the line of chesed. Those three, chesed, chachma, chesed, netzach. Turn the page to ayin. Chad arech kav hachesed shebeyamin. That's on the right. Hamashpia, which gives over. Then it says v'chad katzir, and one is short. Short means it's not short. It means to say that it shortens the flow. So that's the left side. So it says kav hadin shebesmol. This is the side, the line of din. Of din means judgment, which is the left side. It's the limiting means judgment. That the flow, you have to catch the flow, you have to stop the flow. Shebesmol. Hamitzamtzem. And so he writes in brackets the mitzamtzem. That means it minimizes the light. V'chad beinoni, and then there's a middle line. What does that mean? Kav harachamim shebe'emsa. That is the kav of rachamim. So when we say rachamim, chesed is on one side. That's love or flow. Din is on the left side. That's judgment. And the combination between chesed and gvura, or chesed and din, is rachamim. Rachamim means it's both. It's perfectly balanced. So he says, kav rachamim shebe'emsa hamismatzea vein shneim, which is the middle between the two. Okay. V'haseder hachadash hazeh nikra Olam HaTikkun. So once we have this new array of spheres, we call this Olam HaTikkun.
And they're still broken, though, right? He just rearranged them. He didn't fix them.
No, no. It's
because they broke, and then the shards came here, the sparks.
Correct. And now, so very good. But now what happens is when this. Correct. Well, let's put it this way. When the array is now changed to three segels like that, that is called, it's called Olam HaTikkun, the world of,
fine.
Right. It means, you are correct to say that the whole thing hasn't been fixed yet. That is correct.
I think they've been rearranged, but they're, so to speak, still
right.
shattered.
So let's put it this way. You're making a very good point. So what I would say is the fixing has begun. That's what I would say.
It's part of their rehabilitation.
Right. Because now they're going to be in a way that the ore doesn't break and the ore is properly coming down. And in that way, the ore can properly come down from the highest places, which is Ein Sof himself, Hashem himself, all the way down to this low world.
Well, so the system can work, but that doesn't necessarily mean that each individual component was repaired.
So correct. So
this is the current system, though?
Yes, that is correct.
This is not permanent, is what's saying. This is still going to be further arranged.
No, that is the new arrangement.
That's the new arrangement.
That is the new arrangement. But what the Michal brought out is that when this break happened, a lot of things happened. There were a lot of broken vessels that fell through all the universes, and then there were these sparks that went all over the place. That has not been fixed yet. But the beginning of the process of getting this fixed is this new array. And this new array is called Olam HaTikkun, the world of fixing. Even though, correct, it has not totally been fixed
And
yet.
Hashem broke the original. That was
100%, yes, an intentional break. Now, just to see, if you want to see it a little nicer, so if you go to the very first diagram in the very back, the problem is they should have put page numbers on these diagrams and they did not. But if you'll go to the very right, any of those, and I'll show it for the screen. So that's how it looks. That's a nicer way that you see everything in circular and everything has its name. That's really how it looks, and that is the look. That is how it will remain until Mashiach comes. That's the new formation. Okay. Lost my place. Okay. Okay, so let's continue. Very good. Okay, so now we're on ayin, the second paragraph in the middle. Oh, right. Thank you. Olam HaTikkun. So this new seder is called the world of tikkun, of fixing, or the fixed world. Shekvar nivru be'oifen haroi lamoid ilias kayim. It has already been created in a way that it can stand and exist. Ki ha'olamois hakoidmin nikru almin decharivu. He's talking again in the lashon of the Zohar that speaks in Aramish, in Aramaic. Sorry? Oh, so one way to express it is Olam HaTohu, and that's based on the pasuk V'ha'aretz haisa toyu v'voyu. So actually, it's interesting, on that, the Arizal says, Ha'aretz haisa toyu v'vohu. In those four words, what happened is, Ha'aretz haisa toyu, there was a shviras hakelim, uboyhu, and it was fixed. That's, in those two words, is the whole destruction and the whole fix. Everything that we just spoke about is in those two words. That's what the Arizal says that really means. We translated in English, the land was, or the world was confused, and right, but he says no. Boyhu means boyhu. Hashem is in there. That's boy. That's how the Arizal says it. So those two words is the destruction. Toyu is the destruction, and boyu is the fixing. So what you said is correct. That a lot of times that the world of destruction is called Olam HaTohu. Over here, it's called by a different name. It means essentially the same thing. Almin decharivu. Now, almin over here means worlds that were destroyed, and it refers to those worlds. Refers to those spheres. We're going to see why. Mishum shenivru bekavana techila sheyishtabru. He says it here clearly, because they were created with the intent to be broken. Besoid, in the secret of, now he brings Beis Reish in the brackets, means Bereshis Rabbah, Boira Olamais Imachrivan. Now this is a whole issue. The Medrash says in Bereshis Rabbah that Hashem, before our world, he created worlds and destroyed them. Okay, and nobody knows what exactly that means. There's been all kinds of Mefarshim that said different things. There's even someone that said that it means that there were old worlds and they were destroyed, and when we find a dinosaur bones, that's from the old world. And there's many different. I'm not saying that is true or not true. I'm not going into that. I'm just telling you, nobody knows exactly what to do with this. That Hashem, before he created our world, that's what it says. That Medrash says, Boire Olamois, he created worlds umachrivans. Why is he doing that? He's creating worlds and destroying them. What is that? Says the Arizal, it's this. This is what it means. It's Shviras HaKelim. He created worlds. I mean, every sphera is called a world. It is. It's a whole thing. And Machrivan, he created them and broke them. So that's what the Arizal says this really means. This Medrash.
Were they concealed worlds?
Concealed? I mean,
meaning,
this is before creation, so everything's concealed. We're not even here. Like nothing's even here. Like this is before anything exists. Like there's no air,
What I meant,
there's no time, there's no nothing.
Not physical worlds like we're in now. These were kind of
spiritual. Yeah,
worlds.
we're talking about the spheres. So but some people don't know what to do with that. So some people assume, he created physical worlds, he destroyed them. Says the Arizal, that's not what this means.
Because it's said with the dinosaur bones, sometimes they say it was the time when the world was concealed, and that's why you have there's all
it's all kinds of it could be yes, could be no, anything could be. Okay, so let's keep going. Boirei oilamos umachrivan sheoid koidem shebaran kfar haya roitze sheyishtabru. He says it again, that even before he created them, he wanted to destroy them. It was an intentional destruction. Which is not the case in this new world that was created in order to stand. That means the new spheres are going to usher in a new era of a new existence, and that's supposed to continue. And this is what our Chacham said on the pasuk in Bereshis. Ani kel shakai. Now it's interesting that the first time that Hashem has many different names, right? Hashem has a name. Of course, Yud Kei Vav Kei is Hashem's name. We call it Shem Havaya. We have the Shem Elokim, right? We have the Shem Adna, right? Baruch Atah Hashem Adna, right? Like that. We have Kel is a name of Hashem. There's many different names of Hashem. They all mean something. It's not random. And actually, I won't get into it now, but every sphera actually has a different name associated with that. So, for instance, the sphere of Kesser, that name that's associated with that sphere is called Eke. Okay? So I don't want to go into that. It's not what we're talking about now. But one of the names of Hashem is Kel Shakai. Right? We put on our mezuzahs, we write the name Shakai. So Hashem revealed that name to Yaakov Avinu. So what is the meaning of that name? What does that mean? So he says, Ani kel shakai, ani hu, I am he, shamarti lo'elami dai. I told the world stop. What does that mean? Shebo Olam HaTikkun, nasan Hashem yisbarach bebriya koyach chadash shel tzimtzum, sheyuchal kol echad la'atzor be'atzmoi ve'loimar dai. Okay, so he says that when Hashem created the world in this Olam HaTikkun, this new creation that we're talking about, where we're fixing the spheres, so Hashem has put into the creation the power, a new power, shel tzimtzum, of holding back. Sheyuchal kol echad latzor be'atzmoi ve'loimar dai. Every person can say on himself, enough, stop. What does this mean? Kivan she'ein shum svira moileches be'atzma, rak b'shittif im chaveiroi. Every svira in the new system does not rule on its own. Rather, it rules together with those three, right? So he said, right, one gives the hashpah, one contains the hashpah or ends it or holds it back, and then the middle one is the combination of the two. So he says, let me keep reading. In this new world, our job is to hold back. What does that mean, hold back? Again, the mistake of the first spheres were that each one wanted to take everything for themselves. They expanded in order to gobble everything up, and they broke, okay? In this new world, we have a thing that we hold back. We are expected to hold back. Hold back means we're expected not to try to get everything, to take everything. We are expected to be humble and to hold back and take what we need, take what's coming to us, but not take from everybody else. And this is the power of this new array of the three of the right, left, and center, that each one helps each other and they don't grab for themselves, but they hold back from grabbing. And that is this power of Ani Kel Shakai. I am Kel Shakai. Shakai means, has a word in it, die. Die means enough, stop. So each of us are expected to stop and not try to grab more than is coming to us. We do not broaden ourselves more than we're supposed to. And this holding back is what keeps all existence going. In other words, the reason why everything broke before was because the spheres didn't hold back and they tried to grab. And now that everyone is checking themselves, is being careful, is perfecting themselves, that's why the world now can exist, and these spheres will continue to exist in this three array, and the hashpah can continue to go down. You can turn the page to Ayin Dalet. Umishum shekol hasfiros po'alim biyachad, and since all the spheres work together, v'chol echad mekabel mikulam, each one accepts from the other one. Nizgadol kol svira v'svira liyois koima shlema shel eser sviras paratiois. This is very interesting. So I'm going to translate the words. Because all the spheres work together now, they're all working together for one happy family to bring down the hashpah from a higher place to a lower place, and all the spheres work in this way. And by the way, this is happening in every world. So we have a world of, the highest world is called Atzilis, there's 10 spheres there. Then the next world is called Bria, there's 10 spheres there. The next world is Yetzira, there's 10 spheres there. And then our world is Asiya, there's 10 spheres there. So in all the worlds, this is the array. And because that is the case, each world can take the hashpah and bring it to the world lower than that. And then that one is set up properly, so that can transfer it lower. And that's how the system of all the hashpah goes from the highest place, from Ein Sof, to our very low world down here. Right, exactly. So what he says here now, because all these 10 now are working together nicely, and he says an amazing thing now. He says, because everyone's gaining from each other, what ends up happening, or what ends up being revealed, is that in every sphera you have all 10 spheres. So in other words, in the sphere of Keser itself, there are all 10. And they're set up in that way. There's a Keser, Chachma, Bina, Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes, Netzach, Chod, Yesoid, Malchus, all that array of 10 in that one circle, right? And not only that, but this goes into infinity. So again, we said there's a circle, right? There's a sphere of Keser, and then in the Keser there are 10 spheres, right? In that little Keser, there's another 10.
And then in those,
another 10. And this goes on. There is no ad ein sof. There's no end to this. And this is how the world works today, that in every single thing that exists, you have these 10 spheres. It's not just, so all the 10 spheres each one has 10 spheres, but that's why this is the blueprint of creation. So every single thing, this Sefer has 10 spheres. This table has 10 spheres. Each speck of dust has 10 spheres. This is the DNA. I've said this before. This is the DNA of creation.
Encoded in
every. Yeah, it's like DNA. It's exactly like DNA. But I'll tell you more. The whole notion of DNA comes from this. This is the root of this. That every thing is created of 10 spheres, and in each of those 10 spheres there's 10 spheres, and in each of those there's 10, and it goes until, even if you look in, I'm not deeply involved in science, but science talks about this, that there's particles, and each of those particles has particles. These are particles, that right? Until you're trying to figure out how low can you go?
Continue, and then that branch
right,
and it goes forever.
And it goes forever. The reason that this is so is because in the spiritual worlds, this is the way it is. So our world is only a reflection of everything happening up there. The Chein nikra ha'olam HaTikkun gam b'shem olam haberudim. So now he uses a Kabbalistic term. It says by Yaakov Avinu that when he was involved with Lavan, and they made the agreement with the sheep, right? And if all the sheep that will be like this are mine, all the sheep. So the Torah describes three different types of these marks on the sheep. The last one is called berudim. It means stripes. Okay, this Olam HaTikkun Kabbalistically, though it happens to be that those stripes or those marks that were on the sheep all alluded to different worlds in the upper in up there. Let's put it that way. Berudim refers to the Olam HaTikkun. Berudim refers to the spheres when they have been fixed or in the new array.
New arrangement.
Right. Shepirshu pesuchim venifradim. So what does berudim mean? Stripes. But the way I understand what he's saying here is pesuchim venifradim. It means these spheres are now open. So open, I understand. Either it means they're more open because it means that now that you can see 10 in each one, it looks more open. There's more going on over there. It's not closed that there's only one in one, but now there's 10 in one. So it seems that these things are now these spheres are now more open. V'nifradim, and they're more separate. I think what he means they're more separate is they're more complete, because till now you only had one sphera. Kesser was only Kesser. Now Kesser has a whole 10 in it. So it's more complete, it's more on its own, it's a thing on its own. The other way, all 10 made up one entity. Now, each one is 10. So it's more on its own. Lefisha niftachu v'nisravchu hanakudos. Because now these spheres have opened up and they have become broadened. I think what he also means by becoming broadened, it could mean they're broadened now because there's 10 inside, but I think more what he means is, now that they're in 3 columns, the one on the top, in other words, let's say the one most on the right is going to be Chachma. Chachma now gives over to the whole line. In other words, now that they're in lines, the one on the top gives over its energy or its power straight down through the line. So Chachma is giving over hashba or power or energy, however you want to say, or to the next one down, which is chesed, and then that will go down next to netzach, and it moves down. So now that's what I think he means here, that they have become broadened. They're the sphere that used to just be on that chachma, let's say, that was just on the top and working on its own, it now is able to give over to the whole line. And the left line as well, and it works with the left also.
So
in the
does
middle.
the chokhmah feed the others?
That's how the whole system works. That the highest energy is coming from the highest place, quote unquote, and moving down. Yeah. Okay. V'zeh ha'or hachadash, and this new light or light is really, I translate it light, but we should really just translate or as or. Whatever, you can call it light, but light is not a good, when you say light, like this room has light, it's not the right definition of
energy
or.
And light.
Yeah, it's energy, or it's or. There's no way to say, it's Hashem's light. For lack of better terms, we say light, but light really cheapens it, because we refer to light as like this. Anyway, Zeha or this light, Hachadash, this new light, Sheyatza, that went out, Bechdei lesakein esakelim shenishbru, that went out, a new light came out from Hashem, that created this new array, so that everything could be fixed. Now, technically, from the Arizal, we had said that all these, you're not going to know because you just came now, but we said there's a certain olam, a certain world called Adam Kadmoin. It doesn't mean the first man. It's a world called Adam Kadmoin, which means the first man, but it's a world. It's not a person. And we said very clearly that there's no, even though we're going to talk that Adam Kadmoin is going to have quote unquote eyes, ears, nose, a mouth. It's not chas v'shalom physical. It is literal, but not physical. So when that energy comes down, it comes and into us. To us, it becomes a mouth, eyes, ears. But up there, these things are expressed in shemus or oisius, letters or names of Hashem. So again, I just, because you're new here, I don't know.
No, it's okay. I'll follow. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You can never in these high. We're talking about the highest places now. You can never imagine. Our imagination will. We say mouth. We'll think of a mouth, but you must know there's no physical things up there. We're not talking. There's no mouth up there. There's no. But
the coating of a mouth.
It means in Adam Kadmoin there's something called a peh, a mouth, but it means it's not a mouth. It's oisius. It's letters or it's names of Hashem. When that thing comes down, when that energy comes down to our world, so to us it will solidify as a mouth. Right. But up there, Chas v'shalom, you can never, even though we're talking in this way, all the Kabbalah Sfarim are constantly warning, never, ever, ever, never, you must know that there's never anything physical up there, even though we're talking about a nose, a mouth, a hand. Hayad Hashem, the pasuk says Hashem showed His great hand. Hayad Gadoila in Mitzrayim, right? This is
not
all
literal.
It's not. They say it's literal, but not physical. It's literal, but not. It means a hand, but not the same way that we That thing coming down looks like a down here. It looks like a hand, but up there it's not physical. You have to. It's very important to stress that. So it says that from Adam Kadmoin, this world up there. And again, we're going to talk physical, but it's not physical. From the forehead of Adam Kadmoin, listen to this. From the place that we put the tefillin of the Shel Rosh, that place is actually in a baby that's a soft spot. There's a word for it. I forget what it's called now. Frontalet? A frontalet, I think?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Frontalet? I think so.
Tender.
Yeah, exactly.
Soft,
right there.
right, soft.
Right. So what that, according to the Rizal, what that is when a child is that place is the place that we are connected to what's above us. Hashem, our neshama is connected through that place to everything higher. That is the place. And that place, when a baby is born, it's still soft, which means because the baby is just born, so the baby is just freshly taken away, so to say, from Shemaim, from the Kisei HaKavod, that place is still soft. But as the baby grows, that place will become hard. When we put on our tefillin, we are trying to reopen that opening, so that's what tefillin is. That's why, in the times of Chazal, and really the way it's supposed to be, is we're supposed to wear tefillin a whole day, because we want that connection a whole day. But unfortunately, we have to keep our bodies clean, and we think about other things, and so most people just wear it during davening. Some people wear it a little bit longer for learning. There are certain tzaddikim that wear it a whole day. Some mekubalim, some etc. or big Rosh Hashivas. So it says, it's interesting that in Adam Kadmoin, that new ore that was going to shine out to fix the array of to fix it into the segel form, that came from the Metzach, from the forehead of Adam Kadmoin, right from that place where we wear the tefillin, and a new light came down, and when that light came down, that is what fixed the seder of the spheres. And that light was called Nikra B'Shem Ma HaChadash. That light was called Ma Mem He HaChadash. Now, why is it called Ma? So he's going to talk about it, but first let me tell you, I don't want to confuse anyone. the reason that the light is called Ma is because if you, I'm not going to write it out, but I'll describe it. If you take the name Yud Kei Vav Kei and you spell out a Yud, so if you wanted to spell Yud, you would spell Yud Vav Daled. That would be Yud. You got that?
Yeah.
Then you
the
go
actual word Yud.
Yud, the actual
Spelling
letter
Yud.
Yud.
Right.
If you wanted to make spell the letter Yud in a word, you would write Yud Vav Daled. That's Yud. Okay? The gematria of that is 20, because the Yud is 10, the Vav is 6, and the Daled is 4. That's 20. Then you have Hey. So there's different ways to spell Hey, but in this way we're going to spell Hey Aleph. Hey. Hey? Okay? So that's 6. So now you have 26. Then you have Vav. So Vav we usually spell Vav Aleph Vav. Vav. You with me? Vav is Vav Aleph Vav.
Yeah.
That is 13. And then you have another Hey again, is Hey Aleph. If you'll add together those 4 words of Yud, Kei, Vav, Kei, you're going to get 45. Okay, so that's what this 45 is. So a new hashba from Adam Kadmon will come down. This is called the Ma HaChadash. The new or the new hashba of Ma, which is a way of spelling Yud Kei Vav Kei that equals the gematria of Ma of 45. Now he's going to say a different reason why it's called Ma. This is what I said is the real reason, but he's going to give another reason, which is connected to it. Haroimes, this hints al hischadshus ha'olamois. This name of Ma, which really means what? What does Ma mean? What, right? Haroimes, it hints al hischadshus ha'olamois shenase al yedei bechinas ma shehu anava. I'll translate the words first. This hints on the newness that Hashem now has created the spheres in an array of 3s of the ha'ilamais of the world. Shenase al yedei bechinas ma shehi anava. This has happened because the characteristic here is ma, what, which is anava, which is modesty. In other words, we have psukim that say ma'ani, what am I? This is what am I means. You're not saying I'm it, I'm a something, I'm a somebody. No, what am I? That's how we have psukim like this. A different tzaddikim.
Modesty.
I'm trying to think who said it. I think, could it be Moshe Rabbeinu? I don't remember exactly, but we have different places in Tanakh that people refer to themselves as ma'ani, what am I? So what am I means that is the epitome of anava, of modesty. What am I? I'm a nothing. What am I? We say it every morning in davening. Ma'ani, we have in davening in Shachris, in the Korbanos. I forget now. Anyway, so he says, let's continue reading on the next page. Shekol olam mevatel atzmoi lechaveiroi. What's happening now is every sphera is being mevatel themselves, is how do you say mevatel? Canceling themselves, is a better word. Minimizing themselves next to his friend. In other words, the old array was Ani emloich, I will rule. Each sphere wanted to take all 7 for themselves. In this new array, everybody's sharing. Everybody's working together. So every sphere is considered modest. Everybody is, I'm going to take what I need, not going to take from anybody else. We're going to all work together in one family. So that's why he says this new or was called Ma. Because it showed, in other words, what he seems to be saying is the reason why there's different ways to spell Yud Kei Vav Kei. There's other ways. There's a way that you could spell it that you get the gematria 72. There's a way you can spell it, you get 63. There's a way you can spell it, you get 52.
Is 26 the straightforward way?
Right, exactly. 26 is just Yud Kei Vav Kei.
But then beyond that, there's
you can expand it because we did Hey Aleph, right? But you could also do Hey.
Hey, right.
So then the gematria is no longer 6, it's 10. And the Arizal does this. The Arizal is going to say that there's 4 main ways to do this: 72, 63, 52, and 45. Okay, so he says. So what he's saying is what he seems to be saying is the reason why this combination is picked is because it's a combination of modesty. Because the whole reason that the whole world can exist now is because all of these spheres are quote unquote modest, and they're not trying to grab more for themselves. They're happy with what they have, and they're sharing.
And that's related to Ma because of what? Because of Ma.
Ma'ani, what am I? What am I? I'm a nothing.
Right.
Modesty.
Ma
and that
nachnu
brings
ma
balance.
we haven't chapter. Ma nachnu ma. What? How do you say it? You know what I'm talking about?
I mean, the Ma Torah is also a Nun Vav, I think.
Oh, the ma. Oh,
I think he references the Ma.
oh, could be. I just went crazy. I just need a regular sitter.
Yeah.
You got one? Thank you. Thank you. So we say it every morning. Ma nachnu. 1 second. We also say it in Tachnun also, but let me just start at the. Okay, whatever. Do I know where it is? Here we go. Oh, here we go. Riboin kol olamim va'adoini adoinim loy al tzikasenu anachnu mapilim tachnunenu lefanecha ki al rachamecha rabbi ma anu ma chayenu mechasdenu ma tzikasenu ma yeshusenu ma kochenu. Right? What is our power? What is our gvura? What is our life? We're saying here, not I'm a something, I'm a nothing. What am I? We're only what you give us. This is the epitome of modesty, this ma. Last line on this page, al yedei zeh, and through this, higiu the tikkun hashalem, and through this modesty, or through this, or I don't know, or through this light of ma, we come to the tikkun hashalem, we come to the full fixing of the spheres. Turn the page, please, to ayin ches. V'yesh ladas, we have to know. Sheba tikkun shenasa be'ez brias ha'olam adayin loy niskanu kol hanitzoitzin shenaflu be'ez hashvira. Okay, so this is Michal. This is what you were talking. This is what you asked about in the beginning. V'yesh ladas, we need to know. Sheba tikkun shenasa be'ez brias ha'olam. In the tikkun that we're talking about, that the array was changed to 3s. Adayin loy niskanu kol hanitzoitzin shenaflu be'ez hashvira. We still have not fixed all the sparks that fell when the spheres broke. So we had said that the spheres broke in the world of Atzilus, from the highest worlds, and the pieces began to fall. The best of the pieces fell 1 level down. By them falling there, they created the next world called Bria. The next, more coarser pieces fell further. They created the world of Yetzirah, and the most coarsest pieces fell to our world, which is our world of Asiya, which is a very coarse, physical, bang world, right? Now, these pieces could not exist if there wasn't, and this is a general rule in Ruchnius and spirituality, that nothing can exist without a neshama. There's a body without a neshama is Chalila, a dead body, right? So even these pieces that fell, and these pieces are all spirituality, but relatively they are broken pieces relative to what's higher, and you needed sparks to fall down with these pieces, sparks of holiness to fall down with these pieces to keep these pieces alive. And so what that means practically is in this world, we have a physical world, but it's full of these sparks. Now, officially, there were I've said this many times, there were only 288 sparks, but each spark broke into billions of fragments. So you have billions of these sparks lying around. So what he's saying now is that just the fact that Hashem fixed the array did not fix this whole problem, and these pieces and these sparks are still around. They have not been put back into their place. The oid nitzrach, so even though we're in the Olam HaTikkun, we're in the world of fixing or fixed, the oid nitzrach lazeh avoida, we still need the avoida, the work, shel kiyum haTorah mitzvahs, the work, the spiritual work that we do of keeping the Torah and mitzvahs, b'meshach zman harbe shanim, through many, we have to, the Jewish people, Klal Yisrael, from Avram Avinu till the present, until the Mashiach will come, we all have to continue to keep Torah and mitzvahs for this very long period of years, b'chdei, in order, lahashlim sha'ar chelkei hanitzoitzin, in order to complete the rest of these pieces of sparks, the shivrei kelim, and these broken pieces of broken vessels, shenafu l'soicha klipa, that they fell into the realm of evil, shemehem yesh chiyus le'aklipa v'koiches hara Hashem Yerachem. That the reason why there's evil in this world is because these pieces have fallen, and that break creates evil. That break is the creation of evil, and every time that we do this, is what we had said. I don't have to say it because he's going to say it. Keep reading. Every single day, nase birur, we are separating, we are grabbing these sparks and these pieces of the fallen vessels, kelim, v'tikin chadash al yedei avodas kol echad me Yisrael b'chol tefila itfila. Every single time that we daven a shachris, a mincha, a marav, a kriya shema alamita, every single time we do that's why are we davening so many times a day? Why? 4 times, that's Shachris, Mincha, Marav, Kriya Shema Lamita, then we say Tilim. What is this whole thing? We daven the whole day, we're busy davening. What is this? The main avoida to pick up these fallen sparks is davening. That's what this is. And that's why some people feel, it's monotonous, like we're saying the same thing every day, 3 times. You can daven Mincha, Marav right next to each other, right? So I just daven Shemoneh Esrei Mincha. So why am I asking for the same things again? It's a good question, but the simple answer is you need health. You ask again. You keep davening. You don't give up. But the Kabbalistic reason is there are certain sparks that can only be lifted up by Shachris. There are certain sparks that can only be lifted up by Mincha. There are certain sparks that can only be lifted up by Marav. There are certain sparks that can only be lifted up by Kriya Shema Lamita, and it's per person per day. In other words, I cannot pick up your sparks for Shachris. You have certain sparks that you need to pick up, your Shachris. Today, tomorrow morning, Friday morning, you have certain, and Friday afternoon is different, and Shabbos it's different ones.
So we're responsible for certain sparks?
100%.
All Yidden?
All Yidden. That's why we're here. This is the whole thing. And different sparks, or nitzoitzes, as they're called in Lashon Kodesh, are shaykh to your neshama, and some are shaykh to my neshama. And on a certain day, in other words, the opportunity to pick up that spark is on that day. And if you goof it, and it's a problem.
Can't make it up.
Well, he's gonna listen to it. Good, you said that. Look at the next words he said. Imasaknin nitzoitzin, and we fix these sparks. Turn the page. Miyuchadim, we fix certain sparks. Hashayachim, which belong le'oisei hayoim, to a certain day, ule'oisei tefillah, and to a certain tefillah, like a certain mincha, a certain chakras, a certain mar, ule'oisei adam, and to a certain person. And I can't do your job, you can't do my job. The reason this is what it means. How come every face is different? Even twins. A parent can tell them apart. Yeah. And there's differences. The reason is because we all have a different job here. There's something that I can do that you cannot do, and vice versa. That's why we all look different. We're all, nothing's, the world wants to say, it happened, it happens this way. It is. There's no such thing.
We're not robots with the same job. We're completely different. Missions are all different.
100%. And that's why Goyim don't have a mitzvah to daven, because they're not involved in it. I don't know exactly how they're involved in these sparks, but from what I understand, this sparks is for Yidden. This is so they don't have to daven because they don't have this thing. This is what we're doing. Look at the brackets. V'chol Chein, v'al Chein, and therefore Amru Chachmeinu Zal. Okay, this is what you said. There's a Gemara in Brachos. This is what it says. Shim nechsa la'adam tefillah achas, if a person missed out on one tefillah, he missed shachris. Harehu me'ave sheloi yuchal l'tikkun. This is a problem that cannot be fixed. Now, the Gemara, it means it's a problem. You're going to see from the Arizal that the Arizal understood everything can be fixed. Even though the Gemara means to say this is a very big problem and it's very difficult to fix this. The Gemara says it can't be fixed, but a lot of times the Arizal will put a footnote. It's difficult to fix. You shouldn't do this, but the Arizal always had a way to fix. So we'll get to that. Let's just finish the last paragraph. The kasher yistaimu kol haberurim, when we will complete bringing up all these separations. Separations mean we're separating the ore, these sparks from the world. We're taking them out. Betachlis hashleimus, when we've done this in perfection, we've fixed we've brought up all these sparks. The yisuknu v'yisalu kol netzoitzen, and we have fixed, and we will raise up all these sparks. V'ashivrei kelim hanitzoim lamata b'klipa, and the pieces of these broken spheres, these broken vessels that are found below in the realm of evil of klipa. Azai, when that happens, when we're all done with this, azai then kol harisha kula ka'ashan tichlez, uses the lashon from that we say on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. All evil will entirely disperse like smoke. The nizke legeula shlema, and we will merit the full geula, ula tikkun hashalem, and the full fixing, the yakuyim umala haaretz de'as Hashem, and we will be able to say, we will be able to the yakuyim. What's the word I'm looking for? We will be makayim. We will do it. We will be in a situation umala haaretz de'as Hashem, and the whole land will be full of knowledge of God. And that's when Mashiach comes. So ultimately, and we've said this before, that is when Mashiach comes. When all of these sparks have been elevated at the end of time, at the Keit Sayamim, whatever that means, that's when Mashiach comes. That's what we're waiting for. That's our job. And it's a problem. There's a lot of, this is, there's maybe 20% of us are Shomer Shabbos, right? And what's going to be with the other 80% or something? It's a problem. It means Hashem has a way to fix it, but it's a problem because you have to understand, everyone in Klal Yisrael has these sparks to bring up, and a lot of people just aren't even in tune. They don't know anything about Torah.
A lot of these sparks are unattended to.
Correct.
In a way.
Correct, but Hashem does have a system that, in the end, there will be a way that everything gets fixed. Right. But we have to do it the proper way, right? Those people, Hashem will take care of. We have to do our best to bring them back and try to teach them what to do. But we have to, if we do ours, then Hashem will do his, and Mashiach will come in the right time.
Okay,
Shvaya.